We've been meeting for 3 weeks now, I think, and we start having certain feelings between us, right? We're starting to feel a certain connection between us, a certain relationship between us. So here's the question. What feelings and sensations are appearing in us between us from meeting to meeting? Okay, very, very light question. Let's not take too long for each one to answer, but let's just share a little bit of those feelings. And let's try to go down the list here. Obviously, anyone who can open their camera, please do so. And just share what feelings and sensations are appearing in us, between us, from meeting to meeting.
Me, it's a feeling of togetherness because I'm around people who are thinking the same things I am, and there aren't many people in the world that think like this.
Yeah, I was thinking comfort. I was feeling comfort and familiarity.
I feel a warmth every time I'm with everybody, even at the lessons. It's just a warmth in my heart that I feel.
Well, I didn't get to the first two, but I listened to them later. And so then coming in, I mean, just when we do things in BB like this, I just feel a connection. I feel this is just more of my family that I hadn't met earlier. And so I hope that I can catch everything that's going to be put to me. Thank you very much.
Yes,
I feel like the connection of friends, it raises me up and makes me, just like she said before me, it makes me feel good. Thank you.
I would say
like
excitement.
I'm really getting to know all you people. I missed Lisa not being here because I had been in her groups, and I like Zohar. I saw one of your YouTubes, and I like Chicago. I lived there. It's like I know all you people already, even though, of course, I don't. But I'll be happy to know you more.
Kind of what David said, a familiarity. So now I'm getting to know everyone's faces with this Zoom, and we've chatted before, and we see people's names come up in the chat during the weekly Patiha lessons, and it's great to see everybody again on Sunday.
And with this group, we feel a certain security, like you would feel with a family, and a certain love that is only from family. Louis?
Hey everybody, it's great to be here. It always feels like you said, like family, like everybody's just loving and accepting, and it's like a very free and comfortable, open place to be. So thank you so much for being here.
Leonardo, I'm sorry.
Hello, everybody. I feel a great union and a great support of all of you in each of the lessons we are together.
It's become familiar, this connection of ours.
Lisa?
Everyone is really becoming like family. The familiarity of seeing your faces, and then continuing some of that through Facebook. And one of the things I've noticed as well is that my weekdays are seeming more surreal.
Johnny, good morning.
Thanks for waking me up, Brian. It's
Uh, it's actually great that, you know, from all over the place in this little blue dot, that a lot of us, as in this community that we're forming, have actually connected as a result of this inquiry, which has blessed us all. So it's amazing for us to be in this study and, you know, form this family and this connection between each other, and especially from our great teachers. Zoa, it's so great to see you, and especially not only just listening to your voice, and I've, you know, having met some of you as well. So thank you, everyone.
Oscar?
I think it's unique in terms of the comparison with the other groups, you know, in corporeal life that we have been to. And I also feel honesty and openness within the group. So basically that's my impression out of the first 3 lessons. Or thank you.
Selena?
More and more, it felt safe. All faces are friendly, and several faces already have seen several times, so it feels like a family, like a group. And I would like to thank our Mr. Zohar. I think it's because of him. It feels that the group everybody are very friendly. And thank you very much.
Kathy, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Is there more than Kathy? Before I answer, I'm just in awe of everybody here. You know, what we feel here together is so much beyond words that I'm impressed that people have been able to speak on what we have. And of course, in B'nai World Connection, it's something of a buzzword, but it really is, you know, one man, one heart, you know, one spirit. Something that was said, I forget who said it, at the very first lesson is that this is our society. This is the society that Ravash talks about in the social writings, and it's just a pleasure to be here. I wish society in general was like this. Next.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep track if I got everybody, and I don't know if I missed anyone. So did everyone
Did we
speak?
get Linda?
Linda?
I did say my piece, but I just have to agree with everybody. It is like a family. When I said earlier that I feel a warmth in my heart when I'm with everybody, it's because I feel like it's with family I haven't been with in a while.
I know I missed, and I'm so sorry, Lance.
I don't think Vesta's gone.
Storm, you see what the friends are for, to remind you that you've been silent. I've been silenced. I feel excitement every Sunday night. It's like night gathering with friends. You put everything else aside and you know that 8 o'clock it's time for us. And it's time for speaking to only people that you can talk to, only people that you know what all this is about. So it's the only place to be. And I hope it's not just the Sunday nights. I'm sure it's not. I know it's not.
Anyone else?
Lance, I think I missed you. Please. You're muted, my friend. Your speaker's not working.
Sarah hasn't said anything.
Sarah.
Well, I don't know what to say. Everybody looks familiar, and I don't know if that's because I've seen them before many times or because they are the family that's truly in my heart. I can't tell the difference, really. You also have not heard from Katya, so please call on her.
I sign under every single word you said, all of you, and it really also just feels like an enormous inspiration for the goal because you know, life is so full of distractions and other desires, and then the moment I turn on Zoom and I look at all of you, and the moment you start speaking and I feel your heart, it's like the goal becomes the most important thing in the world. Like there's nothing except for us, the goal, and the creator. It's really, you have such a power over me with your inspiration and your enormous heart and desires for the goal.
All right. So let's see where we are right now. First of all, I missed you guys for 2 weeks. You know, I was there for the first lesson, and Gianni, I hope he did a good job in the last couple lessons. I know he's one of my favorite instructors. He's amazing, and hopefully he did good by you. I have the privilege to be with you tonight, and I'm really excited because we're in a time of Congress. I don't know how many of you know about Congress and what's going on around us right now in the world, Klee. Normally, a convention, a Congress is something that happens in some location. People assemble with points in the hearts and get together and have this opportunity to spend a weekend or a few days together in a connection that is beyond words. An opportunity to advance spiritually in one weekend more than you would advance in a year of studies. Which sounds almost unrealistic, illogical. It doesn't make sense. What do you mean? I could read so many articles in a whole year. I could have so many workshops in a whole year. I could be in so many lessons in a whole year. I could do all that. And yet, what we know is that everything that seems as logical to us in this world, everything that the world that we see it as it is so imaginary as it is. It is, it's kind of like a smokescreen of what really is, what reality is. In a Congress, you have this opportunity to concentrate the efforts and make it such that we imagine if you had to drain a huge lake of water, okay? Imagine that a lake is filled with water, and that's the water, that's the light that you're trying to get. In a lesson or in your daily activity with work with friends and the studies and everything, the tool you have is a spoon. And every time you take out one spoon from that lake, you know, it seems like you'd be working a long time on it. In a convention, what you end up having is you have hundreds of people who came for the same reason, and each one of them is given like a huge trough or huge big container that you could take out 1 million spoons at a time. And that's really what happens. It's like concentrated on that level. And I know those are just words, but really what this means is that because you're all working for the same effort, think about the hour and a half that we're going to spend with each other right now, and the hour and a half before this lesson. Okay, I mean, to all of you, I assume most of us are pretty young on this path. We have a strong desire for it. We have this longing for something that's above us. But an hour and a half ago when I was alone and I was thinking about it, how much was the importance in my life for it? Maybe you had some anticipation for it. Maybe you had maybe you kind of had a moment where you were remembering about it. But now you're sitting here with friends, with this influence, with this common desire together, and now all of a sudden everything is augmented to an extent that is beyond words. Now take that and multiply it by hundreds, and then put the one Kabbalist in our world today in that room with you, who is going to lead you and guide you through this process, and concentrate 3 days of not having any exposure to the outside world, but only to spirituality. And there you get the result. And that sounds pretty awesome, but now add to it, where we're going to multiply that by 4. Why? Because this Congress was coined the Americas Congress. Together as one, we are basically creating 4 Congresses in one Congress. And it already started this week, where the first segment in Chile went on for 2.5 days. And then Brazil, which just finished today, went on for 2 other days. And the day after tomorrow, it's going to go on for 2 more days in Mexico. And then, with all that accumulation of light that has been happening, this whole process is going to continue into New Jersey, where we meet there. I truly hope to meet you all there, by the way. I truly hope that you will be there with us and do that. I know many of you will be, and if there's any one of you who's still even having an inkling of doubt, I'm certain you had much less doubt when you were thinking about the last time you took a vacation, or you bought the last thing that gave you a momentary pleasure that you're like later, oh, I shouldn't have spent my money on that, and what was that really about? That's just where I am right now. So in the preparation for that, we're going to talk today about the importance of each other. That little workshop we just did between us kind of sets the tone. Somehow Rabash tells us that if you want to somehow rise from this world, you need this thing called friends. That somehow the importance of friends is something that can raise us from this world. We're going to read an article today called Concerning the Importance of Friends from Rabash. Before we start reading it, and I give you a little guidance of how to listen to it and how to prepare for this article, does anyone have any questions about what we've talked about so far? About the Congress, about the workshop we just did right now. How are you feeling with workshopping? I see thumbs up. That's a good thing. Anyone have a thumb down? Don't be shy. Okay. Oh, Vesna has a thumb down. Oh my gosh. Vesna, what happened?
I still don't like it. I still feel good. I don't know.
It's still hard, huh? I wonder why.
No, not as in the beginning. Not as in the beginning, I must admit, but I'd rather listen.
Right?
I know.
You know that workshops are the form of our corrected interrelationship. Imagine if each one of us is one little piece of the soul called Adam HaRishon, and you wanted to figure out how can you make these pieces relate to each other in the right way. The way they would relate to each other is in what you're doing when you do a workshop. That's what a workshop is. It's this spiritual, correct relationship between people. More importantly, between our points in the hearts. Why don't I like it? I mean, some of us like it. Some of us, some of us just like to talk or like to have conversations and stuff like that. Some of us don't. Some of us are, are learners, wants to sit and hear and learn things. Why would I not want to do that? Why do I not want to somehow, I don't know, talk to people in a way or make them great and listen to them and make what they say important? And what's missing there? That's an open question. That means that you guys can answer.
I think it's missing the annulment. That's the difficult thing about it. You have to forget about yourself. And we are used to, when we answer the question, we want to be right. We want to know what we are talking. Here it's an uncharted territory. So yeah, that's what we have to, I have to work on.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, it's not that I have difficulty with it, but it's a part that it's more difficult than everything else.
Anyone else? What's so
so
difficult?
glad. Sorry, Zohar, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm so glad to hear you say that, Vesna, because I feel the same way. It's more with me, I'd rather listen to I have to participate and engage. And I'd really just rather listen to everybody else's insights and that kind of thing. So I guess in that, I'm really not, I'm annulling, but maybe not in the best way. But yeah, workshops are hard for me.
All right, more people?
Yeah, the ego. Where is the ego in all this? It has something to be a no. I need to bring my voice and then learn to bend it back down again somehow, because I'd rather say everything if I have the chance.
Right. Oscar?
Yeah, and it is the only moment that there.
Oscar, can you get a little closer to your microphone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better. There you go.
Yeah. It is the only moment, it's the rare moment that the reforming light is working on us. And obviously it creates a very different sensation, and sometimes it could be comfortable, sometimes it could be, uncomfortable. So that depends, what kind of sensation this reforming light causes on us.
Yeah.
Well, as for me, I like to be prepared. You never know what they're going to ask you, and I think that's a little difficult at times. And so, and depending on what the subject for that evening might be, even to have a few words to get me like the springboard to start it. But otherwise, I'm just nervous a little bit sometimes and intimidated. So
No, oh boy, what if you say something wrong, or if it doesn't sound like it's that you know what you're talking about, or
yeah.
Yeah.
That used to be me in the very beginning. I used to be terrified. Really terrified, because everybody knew so much more than I did. And then I realized eventually that that was all pride, which is all ego, but I might look foolish or stupid or something like that, and that was just ego, and I better get over it, and I did.
I was going to say, well, in the beginning, I didn't know much, but then when I knew something, so I didn't feel that bad, because when I came to the workshop, it sounded like I knew what I was saying, right? No,
not me.
It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with what you know or don't know. Because what we're doing has nothing to do with knowledge. What we're doing, when we're connecting, we're actually challenging something that is completely uncomfortable. By the way, do you think growth or development can occur from a place of comfort? It can't. You have to challenge that. You have to put yourself in a place where not only are you doing something that's really uncomfortable, we're going to, as we develop spiritually, we're going to go even more deeper into that, to the point where we are challenging, to the point where, oh my gosh, my poor ego is going to have to, we're going to have to trick it to think that we're not messing with it, because it's in complete control. I don't want someone to say to me that my essence is not okay. There's something wrong with who I am, that I need to change something in me. And by the way, this is a little secret. Kabbalah is all about changing me. Because guess what? Everyone else is perfect. You ever heard the saying, there's none else besides him? So guess what? Everything outside of me is him. So when I'm looking at the other and I'm sitting there and I'm doing a workshop, let me pick on someone here. I do a workshop and I'm with Brian in the circle. And he says something, I'm like, Brian, what are you, stupid? What's wrong with you? Didn't you get the question that the instructors gave? That's wrong. You probably weren't listening. You're not giving your efforts, Brian. What's wrong with you? How can I possibly be a friend with you and workshop with you? And what was wrong with this whole situation? It had nothing to do with Brian. It had everything to do with how I saw Brian. The thing that I saw wrong in Brian is the thing that needs to be corrected. Because there's only one thing that needs to change. It's my perception, my attitude, the way I relate to things. And guess what? The reason I see things the way I do is because of my ego. Everything is filtered through it that way. I see everything in there's like a one-directional filter there. Bring me pleasure, don't bring me pleasure. Bring me pleasure, thumbs up. Don't bring me pleasure, thumbs down. Brian just spoke, it didn't bring me pleasure. Oh, he's bad. We need to fix Brian. Then who spoke? Who's the next one who spoke? Oh, Tim speaks. Oh, Tim speaks. I like what it really felt good what he said. It sounded like he even agreed with me. Oh, I like that. I like people who agree with me. That gives me pleasure. Then Adam speaks, and he says something that seems to contradict what I said. Oh, bad. Bad, Adam. Right? And then Oscar speaks, and he's like, I really like what Zohar said. It really made me feel good and all that. Oh, now it's... Oscar is great. I can connect with Oscar, but I can't connect with Brian and with Adam. That's exactly how we see this world. That's how we see everything around us, and that's how we judge it. And I'm using almost ridiculous examples, but believe it or not, that's exactly how we behave. That's how we see the world. And when we start changing that, we're going to see a completely different world. We're going to see that everything outside of us is perfect. And the only thing I had to change was the way I look at things. Sounds simple, right? Apparently, Kabbalists who have done this tell us that you need something. You need some kind of connection with friends. You need some kind of... you need friends, apparently. And today we're going to talk about that a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to try to see if I can... since tonight, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not only here, but I'm here alone doing the technology and doing this instruction. And so let's see if I can make it so that you guys can see a clip from Rav, and then that'll kind of prepare us for this. So give me 3 seconds here, and let's see if this works.
Yes, Zohar, and on that note, can you hear me? Mic test.
We hear you loud and clear. You sound beautiful.
Thank you.
I don't agree with you, but you sound great.
Connection, it's something that exists neither in you nor in me. Connection, it's something between us. It doesn't exist in you. Don't search for it on the inside. I love him, he's inside me. Okay. And he says the same. I love you, you're inside me. That's still not connection. That's how each feels the other. Connection, it means that between us, between you and me, not the bodies, but the feeling of me and you, there's a connection where we feel ourselves close and closer and closer until I feel that me and you, it's not that you're in me and I'm in you. There's no such thing, but the only thing that exists is the together. And that together is the root. That's the revelation of the Creator to his creatures.
So I'm guessing the way you were looking, that you actually heard it and saw it, right? Okay. We want to reach that together. Keep that in mind. Keep that for the guidance of what we're doing today, okay? I want somehow, this is a safe place, right? You guys feel safe? Not all of you feel safe. Let's not continue with the lesson until everyone feels safe. How's that? Now let's continue. So we want to feel safe in a safe place because we're about to do something that is kind of like, what do you mean I cancel myself? And not only that, you have to cancel yourself. Also, we want to feel that. We want to feel something of that other, that thing that I don't feel right now, that thing that I'm concealed from right now. And so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using an article from Rabash concerning the love of friends on page 54 of this book. You have this book, I assume, right? Who doesn't have this book? Oh. Those of you who don't have this book, you need to get this book. This is like key. It's a key book. If you have the social writings of Rabash, you have basically all the rules by which we connect to feel that together, to reach to that state that's outside of me. There's a way that we read Rabash. Obviously, every time we read the source materials, we're connecting. It seems like when we're doing a workshop, that's when we're connecting, right? That's because we're exchanging something. But how do you feel about a reader reading a writing, and what's going on in your mind is that while that thing is going on, while you're absorbing what's going on in the reading, you're trying to actually do that together thing, to cancel yourself out and feel of how this goes to the friend, how this goes to the other. I know I don't know you. I only met you 2-3 weeks ago. We only spoke 2-3 times. How do I, believe it or not, the Creator brought us all here. And this is it. This is the place where we're going to do it. And why did I say we need to be in a safe place? Because maybe Zohar is just talking nonsense and, he's asking me to do something that's dangerous or something like that. But it's not. What would it hurt you to do a little exercise here, right? So let's try to do that while we're reading it. Secondly, I want you to pay attention very carefully to what's going on here in this article. When we read Rabash articles, and this is something that you'll start doing soon when you are assigned to be like in a 10 and work together in that way, is you're going to read an article from Rabash and try to extract out of it special things, special guidance that he's giving us there, special rules that he's setting up for us, special advices, some kind of summary of what he's writing there that makes sense to our life, that is relevant to our work between us. Okay? So imagine that right now, there's a chance that after we read this article, you're going to have to share with each other some of those things. You're going to have to workshop a little bit and talk about, what did you get out of this article? You're not going to philosophize about it. You're not going to try to elaborate, something that was written perfectly by Rabash anyway. What you're going to try to do is to take out of it, to concentrate out of it, those gems, those key points that are so important that we can actually use between us. Okay? Questions? All right, we're going to read. I'm going to look at the time. Yeah, we could read. Here we go. Concerning the importance of friends. Concerning the importance of friends in the society and how to appreciate them, meaning with which kind of importance everyone should regard his friend. Common sense dictates that if one regards one's friend as being at a lower degree than one's own, he will want to teach him how to behave more virtuously than the qualities he has. Hence, he cannot be his friend. He can take the friend as a student, but not as a friend. Let's take that first paragraph as an example. What is something that you just took out of there? One sentence. No one talks more than one sentence, okay? Right here and now. Just let's take 3-4 people say one sentence you heard in that paragraph that you think we could use this right now. What is something that is worthwhile for us to learn from this paragraph? Who's going to go?
How to appreciate. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Don't think of people lower than you. Think of them as equals.
Okay. All right, but by the way, that's a perfect example of what you do. Now you could have taken that paragraph and written down a sentence. Don't look at people as lesser than you. You didn't get the equal thing from this paragraph. If you were read it 2-3 times, I don't think he said anything about equal, but he did say something about, it makes sense that if you were to look at someone who is lower than you, chances are you're going to want to fix him. You're going to want to be his teacher, right? Did someone else want to add there? Did I stop in the middle? I heard a noise.
I was just going to add the appreciation of the friends, the importance of the appreciation.
Okay.
I just wanted to add, holy cow, this is what I catch myself doing all the time.
There's a reason why Rabash wrote this.
It sounds, Zohar, that there's a distinction between teacher and student.
Good. Okay. By the way, every time you read Rabash articles, do this. To get into the habit of, Rabash used to tell Rav, he used to say to him, rewrite the article, write it in your own words, make a summary of articles. And Rav, till this day, still does that. He'll take source materials and sit there and write summaries. Not necessarily for someone else, because the practice of doing so makes you digest it in a completely different level. And if one sees one's friend as being at a higher degree than his own, and sees that he can acquire good qualities from him, then he can be his Rav, but not his friend. Okay, so he already gave us two opposites here, and might not work either one of them, right? This means that precisely when one sees one's friend as being at an equal degree to one's own, one can accept the other as a friend and bond with him. This is so because a friend means that both parties are in the same state. This is what common sense dictates. In other words, they have the same views and thus decide to bond. Then both of them act towards the goal that they both wish to achieve. It is like two like-minded friends who are doing business together to achieve a profit. In that situation, they feel that they have equal powers. But should one of them feel that he is more competent than the other, he will not want to accept him as an equal partner. Instead, they would create a proportional partnership, according to the strength and qualities that one has above the other. In that state, the partnership is a 30-30 or 25% partnership, and it cannot be said that they are equal in that business. But with love of friends, when friends bond to create unity among them, it explicitly means that they are equal. This is called unity. For example, if they do business together and say that the profits will not be distributed equally, this is called unity? Is this called unity? Clearly, a business of love of friends should be when all the profits and possessions that the love of friends yields will be equally controlled by them. They should not hide or conceal from one another, but everything will be with love, friendship, truthfulness, and peace. But in the essay, A Speech for the Completion of the Zohar, it is written, The measure of the greatness comes under two conditions. One, to always listen and receive the appreciation of society to the extent of their greatness. Two, the environment should be great, as it is written, in the multitude of people is the king's glory. To accept the first condition, each student must feel that he is the smallest amongst all the friends. And then he will be able to receive the appreciation of the greatness from everyone. This is so because the greater one cannot receive from the smaller one, much less be impressed by his words. Only the lower one is impressed by the appreciation of the greater one. And for the second condition, each student must extol each friend's merit as though he were the greatest in the generation. Then the environment will affect him as a great environment should, since quality is more important than quantity. It follows that in the matter of love of friends, they help each other, meaning it is enough for everyone to regard his friend as being of the same degree as his own. But because everyone should learn from his friend, there is the issue of Rav and disciple. For this reason, we should consider the friend as greater than he should consider the friend as greater than himself. But how can one consider one's friend greater than himself when he can see that his own merits are greater than his friends? That he is more talented and has better natural qualities? There are two ways to understand this. One, he is going with faith above reason. Once he has chosen him as a friend, he appreciates him above reason. And two, this is more natural, within reason. If he has decided to accept the other as a friend and work on himself to love him, then it is natural with love to see only good things. And even though there are bad things in one's friend, he cannot see them. As it is written, love covers all transgressions. We can see that a person may see faults in his neighbor's children, but not in his own. And when someone mentions some faults in his children, he immediately resists his friend and begins to declare his children's merits. And the question is, which is the truth? After all, there are merits to his children, and hence he is upset when others speak of his children. The thing is this, as I had heard it from Bala Sulam, indeed, each person has advantages and disadvantages. And both the neighbor and the father are saying the truth. But the neighbor does not treat the other's children like a father to his children, since he does not have the same love for the children as the father does. Hence, when he considers the other's children, he sees only the children's faults, since this gives him more pleasure. This is because he can show that he is more virtuous than the other because his own children are better. For this reason, he sees only the other's faults. What he is seeing is true, but he sees only things he enjoys. But the father too sees only the truth, except that he regards only the good things that his children have. He does not see his children's faults, since it gives him no pleasure. Hence, he is saying the truth about what he sees in his children. And because he regards only the things that can please him, he sees only the virtues. It turns out that if one has love of friends, the rule in love is that you want to see the friend's merits and not their faults. Hence, if one sees some fault in one's friend, it is not a sign that his friend is at fault, but that the seer is at fault. Meaning that because his love of friends is flawed, he sees faults in his friends. Therefore, now he should not see to his friend's correction. Rather, he himself needs correction. It follows from all the above that he should not care for the correction of his friend's faults, which he sees in his friend, but he himself needs to correct the flaw he has created in the love of friends. And when he corrects himself, he will see only his friend's merits and not his faults. We're going to go into a workshop for a few minutes here. It's going to be a short one. I want to do quite a few questions today and leave some room for our discussion. So this is going to be the guidance for the first workshop question, okay? Sit together and everyone raise one sentence, one comment, one suggestion, one advice that you see that Rabash is giving to us concerning love of friends. Okay? Is the instruction clear? Some of you will stay in this main room and some of you are going to be going into breakout rooms. If it is messed up, it's because I'm doing this alone today and I can fix it real quickly. But let me see if I can look really quickly if I missed someone, and I think I did. And we're going to go in here and do that, and we should be on our way any second now. I think so. Let's see. All right, go ahead. It'll be about 5 minutes, okay? So don't continue talking too much. Just bring up an advice, a suggestion you see from Rabash, and write those. And someone in the group write it down, okay? Here we go.
Press your breakout buttons if you got one.
Don't have one.
Should be in the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
Okay, I cannot teach my friend. I can only learn from my friend.
I'm not here to correct others, but to correct myself.
I could only see the merits of my friend, not his flaws.
You can only see the merit of my friends and the greatness in them.
If you're seeing faults in your friends, you're doing it wrong.
But to be fully participant.
To see my friend has the voice of the creator.
When one selects one's friends, does one select a friend, or is one given by the creator?
To see my friends is greater than myself.
I don't have anything to add. I just agree with all the friends.
I missed like the second or third one. So if you can see that yours was missed, please say it again.
I had said, I cannot teach my friend. I can only learn from my friend. Oh, I'm sorry, you have that one. Sorry, Adam. But since we're still going, when each friend annuls himself to the other, by this they become equals.
Anyone else have anything?
To actually want the friend, to have your desire must be fully that your friend obtains spirituality and revelation of the Creator.
I had it, I lost it. Sorry.
The question was to select the sentence, but what the last friend just said, to want for the friend, to desire for the friend, and to constantly strive for that is so much of our challenge, but it's our work.
To really enter the room with a desire to bestow to your friends, means for me that I really have to listen deeply to them and forget what my ego wants to say.
And we should really be listening very closely to each other. In that way, we can learn from each other.
You don't pray for the self, you actually pray for the friends, for everyone else except yourself.
And not when the friends are equal, can you be in unity?
And perhaps the other thing could be not to be concerned about friends' correction, but to be concerned only about your own correction.
And on that note, to be aware that it's so much easier to see our friends' faults other than our own faults. When we do perceive our friends' faults, it's my fault.
The friends are like mirrors. When we see something that's faulted in them, it's truly in us.
Okay, so it looks like everyone is back. Hopefully that worked okay. How was that exercise? You feel like how an article can be so much deeper when you do it that way? Where you're really extracting out of it, all the wisdom in it and how it relates to us, and we actually work on it. So I'm going to read I'm going to go back to read a paragraph from this article because it's going to lead us into something here. So it's on page 55, second paragraph. But in the essay, A Speech to the Completion of the Zohar, it is written, the measure of the greatness comes under two conditions. One, to always listen and receive the appreciation of society to the extent of their greatness. And two, the environment should be great, as it is written, in the multitude of people is the king's glory. To accept the first condition, each student must feel that he is the smallest amongst all the friends. And then he will be able to receive that appreciation of the greatness from everyone. This is so because the greater one cannot receive from the smaller one, much less be impressed by his words. Only the lower one is impressed by the appreciation of the greater one. And well, leave the second condition for a second. So basically, I know we went back and forth here. Oh, you can't be greater, you can't be lesser. And yet, Rabash is telling us very clearly, you need to make yourself the smallest of the group. So imagine right now that you are in a situation where everyone in your circle, right? Those that you're in this workshop with, they're your spiritual group. They are so great that they hold in their hands the answer to all that you need. Everything spiritual that you need on this path, remember, everything we talk about here is only in relation to our path, okay? We're not talking about corporeal needs or anything like that. We're just talking about everything you need to accomplish the purpose of creation, the reason you were born. So imagine the friends are standing over you like, loving parents, right? They're willing to give you anything you just ask. Now you're going to sit in that circle, and every time it comes to your turn, you're going to be that little, smallest little person in this circle who's looking up to these peers of his who are these great ones, these great parents who are looking over him, can give him anything he wants and tell them what you want, what you need, knowing that they're the ones who can give it to you. Do you understand the exercise? Right? You've heard the word annulment, making myself nothing, where they're great. I'm smallest. Let's actually do this in the workshop form, okay? 1-2 sentences. We'll do it really short, okay? So if you have, 7-10 people, you should be able to accomplish it in 3 minutes, right? You go in there, whenever it's your turn, you're the smallest, and you're looking up at your friends, and you're like, tell them what you need spiritually, okay? Because they can give it to you. Let's go for it.
Just to get started, what I need from you great friends is for you to close my corporeal eyes so I can see the spiritual beauty in all your hearts, so I can truly see you guys as you all are, and not as the eyes that I have now see and the heart feels.
And guys, to lead the way. I mean, I'm lost. Without you, I am not even going to get close to what we're trying to achieve here.
So what you need spiritually. Next.
I need the friends to desire to have unity and togetherness, evoke love during our workshop.
I'm a drop of water, and I need you all to be my ocean.
It's to really feel what bestowal, or the connection of bestowal really is, the transformation from egoism into altruism. So that's what we all need. Tim.
Yeah, I need your help to figure out how I can escape my ego and begin to participate in reality with everyone. Oscar?
Yeah, I need your desire because my desire is insignificant and it's not enough. So your desire is important for me.
With your desire, we can all reveal the Creator together.
Need you guys all to get smaller than me so I can get smaller than you, so you can get smaller than me, so we can all disappear and see the Creator instead of each other.
Nai Amon Kote writes in the chat his answer, I need to see all of you reveal the Creator in you.
Leonardo and Lewis, you guys haven't gone.
Yes, I need the support and the strength of all of you in order to become a big one soul with no deficiencies in it.
I need you all so I can truly know how to grow my vessel for bestowal.
Hello, friends. I need to be accepted in the group because without you, I can have the light of the Creator, and I really need it. We all need it. And alone, I can do it. So I need all of you.
Danu, have you gone? Let's go ahead and go back through, cycle back through.
I love this free flow that we have. I guess we're back in the main room now. But I love that from you guys. You just flow.
All right. How is it to see your friends as great and you as small? Pretty cool? All right, let's flip it now. So Rabash says to us that there's two ways to behave here with a friend. First, I need to see them as great and me as the smallest, insignificant person there. Why? Because by that, I can be impressed by them. I can get their greatness. I can get the importance from them. They can be impressed by them, right? To be impressed by something that's lesser than me, I can't be. But what can I be great towards them? If I want to bestow to you, if I want to give to you, if I want to be the one who has actually got something to give, I kind of need to see you as someone who's smaller who needs to get it, right? Who needs to receive it. Why would I possibly need to give to something that's greater than me? So let's do the same exercise. This time when you speak, everyone in the circle are like your little children. They need spirituality. They need everything that you have to give. They're sitting there thirsty, hungry for spirituality. And you have it when you want to give it to them. So now when you go around, you're talking in a completely different way. Now you're talking in a way that you're offering something, right? You're going to impress them. You're going to inspire them, right? Let's do that. Once again, a few minutes, and then we'll go to the next step.
All right, so we're inspiring. Murrow, you want to start?
Yeah, if I have what you want, I want you, you're going to have to do something for me. You're going to have to prove that you need it, you know? You're going to have to really show me you want it, or I won't give it to you. That's how I'm going to be about it. You guys got to show me that you can all get together and actually want what I have. Then I'll give it to you, but otherwise, no. Let's say David.
Yeah, and the first time that need or want or uncertainty or doubt arises, I just want to let you know that I'm here. I'm here. I'm an open door policy. Anything that comes up, just let me know. Like Merle says, but you gotta let me know.
Next.
I want you guys to be righteous men, to be able to justify every event and every thought that happens in your life.
Next.
If you can imagine that the biggest pleasure you can experience in this lifetime or in this corporality, it is only 1% of what you can experience in spirituality. Brian.
Thank you. I want you guys to know I love you in places in my heart I didn't know existed. I just love you so deeply that you're there all the time. And it's just, there's just a love there and a connection that I just can't express in words. Tim?
If I could provide this, I would, without a shadow of a doubt, without any question. But just, I'm sure we would have to show that you needed it and a true desire for exactly what you wanted. Let's go, Oscar.
It's difficult for me to do that without basically falling into ego's trap. But I'm here for the friends, and I'm just trying to do my best and exerting for that. And so I'm just trying to make most of it of these times, union times.
And Aman says on group chat, I want to pray, correct your internal desires for all of you, my friend. Leonardo.
Okay. This is difficult, how we say, because the ego, but I want to be your ears, your mouth, your eyes, your fingers, in order to you to find the things that are hiding for you, the things that you don't think even exist and are behind our compression.
And I'll go ahead. So what tends to impress my children is I don't yell at them. I try to treat them as human beings. Shall we go back through? Lewis, have you spoken?
No, not yet. I want all of us to be as one, and that I have what you need to be one, and whenever you need it, I'm ready to give it.
All right, guys, shall we go back through, cycle again?
I haven't spoke yet, so I would really like to talk about the only thing I really have to offer in this process is workshopping techniques, really getting the friends to learn how to connect in a workshop. It's amazing when that happens.
Sorry for missing you, Adam. Yeah, that's an important thing that we'll all be learning more of. We should be going back at any time, but does anybody have anything that they want to say, or did we miss anybody?
I think we're already back.
Okay.
Some are still coming.
I think we missed Dano.
You're right.
So that's an interesting thing. First of all, I noticed something as you went out to the rooms. One of the rooms, you were probably having such a special connection there that you didn't, when the button came back up and said, you've been called back, you didn't press it. You're like, let's squeeze this thing to the end, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It was like so special. You're like, we have another minute. We can keep this one more minute. We can do something here. This is awesome. And that's beautiful, by the way. In fact, we're very envious of you. And so what we're going to do is from now on, whenever there's a workshop, okay, and you're in one of those rooms, so everyone really listen really carefully. At least today, maybe we do it one more time. Remember this rule. When you see that button come up and says, the organizer invited you to go back or something like that, don't click it. Let that timer, give that one more minute of workshopping there. Feel the urgency of, I have one more minute to connect with everyone. It'll give us several things. First of all, you have the opportunity to connect for another minute right there on the spot. Secondly, you won't have other people you'll have one person clicks a minute earlier and then another person, and then we're like disperse and we're waiting for everyone for that minute. Meanwhile, the people who are in the main room here are waiting for you guys. They can go on for another minute. So everyone gets the idea. So don't click on the thing. After a minute, it'll make you go back automatically anyway. So that's okay. All right? That's pretty awesome. So we just tried two different things. And I assume some of you felt more comfortable with one than in another, or maybe not, or you had some kind of feelings about it. What we learn is that when we're connecting, when we're working on this love of friends, on this interaction with a friend, I need to be both those things. At times, I need to be the great one. Why? Because I need to be able to give them. And at times, I need to be the small one. Why? So that I can be impressed by them, so I can receive from them the greatness of the goal and all those great things. Imagine that a workshop is giving you this perfect opportunity. Why? Because every time you talk in a workshop, your job is to give. When someone else is talking, the next person who talks after you, your job is to receive. Right? So next round we're going to do, we'll do it, this will be our last round in workshop form for today. Talk about those two states, okay? The state of being in a state of annulment and the state of being the one who's giving the impression, who's giving out the goods, the light, right? Be generous and just talk about those two states. But while you're doing it, remember that if you're talking at that moment, talk to your beloved kids, your beloved friends who need what you're going to give them. Therefore, when you do it, you open your heart. You want to give them all the love and the light that you can give. Doesn't even matter what those words are. It's what you're giving. And everyone else, meanwhile, what are they doing? They're sitting in that other state, in that state of annulment. Oh, admiration. My parent is talking right now. They're giving me something. You got the idea? So you got the idea of how to talk and how to listen. And what are we talking about? About those two states, the state of being the smallest and the state of being the greatest. And what this little experience gave us. I'm going to give you like 5, 6, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, let's say, okay? And then we're going to do a little bit of a reading, a conclusion, and some questions and answers, okay? Here we go.
Looks like we're back together here. Tim, would you like to start?
Sure. Yeah, we're talking about the two states, and for me, I really need to work on listening more. So I try to focus on that part. That sometimes the dead silence just drives me crazy, and I have to jump in and say something, and so I just getting involved with these. I've tried to change it a little bit where I listen more and jump in less, and it's still hard. I just want to get in there and throw my 2 cents in, whatever it's worth. But in the talking part, coming back to it, it's a bit intimidating because I don't know anything about this, and I hate talking about it because I don't bring anything to the table. So the listening has become way more comfortable in this setting. We'll go to the next one. Thank you.
Well, Tim, you definitely bring something to the table, so thank you. Let's check in with Dano. He hasn't been able to speak. I don't know if he's got a mic problem. Dano, can you speak to us? Apparently not. How about Leonardo? Do you get the question?
Yes.
Please.
About the two states, I think is a great question, because in a group, in the workshop, we need to have both sides. If all of us are listening and nobody speaks, we are lost. And in the contrary, if all want to speak at the same time and nobody listen, we are lost too. We need to have I think with these two states, we need to have a balance. Sometimes you listen, sometimes you speak, in order to every one of the group be enforced to be graded with this discussion. And I think we need to have this always remembering to bestow, to give to the others, to my friends, to my group, all that I have, and try to receive as much I can of all of you.
Next.
Yeah, Leonardo, both of you, all of you guys so far have inspired me, making me think this. I believe you're here on a quest to learn how to give. I know that I am. And maybe sometimes the key to that is learning how to receive, because isn't it true that we don't know anything except through its opposite? You never know black without knowing white. It's meaningless. Left is meaningless without right. It's the nature of the world that we were born into. So maybe our quest is to learn how to receive, or we'll never know how to give. Next, thanks.
I think it's, oddly enough, it's very comforting to know yourself. It's like you don't have to think. All you have to do is listen. And when you're leading or administrating, you have this worry that you want to guide the friends in the right direction. Brian?
Yeah, it does seem more, for me at least, more easy to be annulled, but then I don't feel like I'm being completely honest with myself, because I don't fully annul. I still have my ego. But then when it comes to being great, I don't feel like I'm worthy. I have nothing to offer. So I'm stuck, and then it's only with the love of the friends that they can help pull me to the middle.
Next, please.
Yeah. So perhaps one analogy could be going up in a ladder. When you're doing that with the friend, sometimes you are the one pulling, and at other times you need to be pulled up, to reach the goal. And that's I think one way to look at it.
It's so true how there's a fear to speak, because it's almost like I'm unworthy to guide all of you. But I know that you all have it in you to show me the way, but that also means that I have it in me to show you the way. And it's just wonderful that we get to have that constant connection like Rav was talking about.
A great one, Louis. We always feel, what can I add of value to the whole? I immediately had, right in the beginning when the question was asked, of the two sides of the coin, and it's like, I'm the teacher in the kindergarten, you guys have all come into the right room, and it's finally how naughty of you it's taken you this long to get into this room, and then immediately change roles, and I'm the little kid now being given the lecture. So it's that constant learning and willingness to be open to receive and to give in such a bestowal kind of state than just the egoism, but being aware of both, because we are 100% vessels of receiving. So if we can play that role, it will really add some great value to all of us.
I have a great desire to be a help to all you guys. And yet I'm afraid that everything I say is just an expression of me trying to be a big shot in front of you guys to prove that it's worth something what comes out of my mouth. But honestly, I heard what the Rav said, and I heard what everyone said, and this idea of disappearing, each of us disappearing, so that the Creator can be revealed, seems like the only thing I really have of value to add to this conversation. Somehow, in being great, I have to find a way to disappear. And for the life of me, it doesn't seem possible.
Thanks, guys. We're back.
Thank you. First of all, I want to tell you that you're amazing, friends. You truly are. I am so inspired to hear some of the words of what comes out of your mouths, what comes out of your hearts. It's a tremendous thing to be able to convey things out of your mouth that most of us have no idea where that even came from. Let me ask you something. In this little exercise, what could I possibly give you? What am I, the Creator? I have light to give you? What do you have to give me? What do you have light to give me? Look at each other right now. Are we truly equals? Don't be philosophical right now and all righteous and all that. Are we equals? No. No, no, and no, right? Meaning, I don't have anything to give you. You don't have anything to give me, and we can't be equals. How does this work? What's missing in this picture? Someone save me.
A Creator.
Thank you. The Creator. Apparently, for us to make this whole thing work, we need something to be equal towards, something to be great towards, something to be lessened or diminished towards. This work that we do between us, this love of friends, this work between us, is all only possible because there is this upper light. Because that's how it works. It's in relation to that. And guess what? In relation to wanting to reveal the Creator and all that comes with that, we are equal. In that. Right? David has a bigger appetite than I do. Johnny has a better taste than I do. Lance is a better magician than I am. Luis is better looking than I am. Monique is wiser than I am. And go on and on and on. There is nothing equal about our beastly bodies and our corporeal existence. Our egos are making us completely stand out and not let us do that. But the point in the heart, the part that connects us to the source, to the Creator, in that we can be equals. And that's what we concentrate on. What can I give you when I'm in a workshop? What do I have to give you when I'm in a workshop? When I'm working with friends? What was the difference between the two fathers in Rabash's article? Why do I see my kids as great and my neighbor doesn't?
Ego.
Love.
That child is an extension of you.
More
perception.
Brings me pleasure to see my child is better.
Right. If I love something, it gives me pleasure to see the good in him. So if I were, let me ask you this question, open question right here. Why would it make sense that I have to somehow make the friend important? Right? I'm sorry, my glasses are getting blurry at this point. So we have Carol, Katya, Linda, Carrie, Lisa, Vesna. You're sitting in a circle. What do you know from each other? You know, like I said, one feels this way about that one. That. Why would it make sense for you to make the other friends important? Why would it change something?
To become like the Creator.
It's the same goal we are striving to. I mean, we're trying to achieve.
More?
Because no one's better, so they're like a teacher. We're all friends, so we're all equal.
I want to justify you. You happen to be great. You are the Creator. And each one of you looking at the others is looking at the Creator. But with your corrupted, shattered vessel eyes that is filtered through your ego, what are you seeing in the others? Faults, not merits. I want to see them like those who I love. Because if I could love you, even if it's somehow in this game that we play between us, now I will start to see your merits. I will see you through the eyes of a loving observer, in the eyes of a Creator. You guys see this? You're sitting there, you're making someone great, then you're making yourself someone who's going to make them great, and then you're giving them so that they will love you, and you're doing everything you can for them to love you, and for them to, and vice versa. I probably said the same thing 3 times. It just sounded like that when it came out of my mouth. But really what you're trying to do is you're creating a different way of looking at the friends. I don't look at them as friends to start with. I look at what's wrong with them because it doesn't give me pleasure to see them as great. But if I can make them important, create some kind of affinity towards them, it would actually give me pleasure to see their fault, to see their merits, right? If I actually, right now, I look at one of you guys and I say, yeah, you know, it gives me no pleasure to see something great about you. And I raise the importance of how great you are. I say, Leonardo, you're an important person. The words that come out of your mouth touch my heart. I feel closer to the Creator just hearing from you. You're an amazing with that. Just saying those words, all of a sudden, I'm seeing nothing but merits in Leonardo. I can actually receive something from him at this point. I can actually receive pleasure from it. I can actually feel comfortable giving to him. Does anyone feel bad about serving their children? You work your whole life to serve them with a big smile on your face. You thank God, oh, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Little brats, you feed them, you have to clean their diapers and then clean up bigger messes than the diapers when they grow up and this and that. And you love it. You're like, it's like we're masochists, right? But we love them. Forget the fact that they're an extension from it. Don't worry about that. You have an example of the way you relate to something you love. And that little switch. Remember what we talked about in the beginning of today's lesson? We talked about the fact that, well, I don't feel so comfortable with them doing this. Because who are they? Why would I feel comfortable giving them? Or lowering myself before them? Or looking a certain way before in front of them? Because I don't love them. Of course not. But if I loved you, oh boy, I'd be looking for ways I can serve you. How can I give you? Do you know that people who go to the Congress, for example, they fight for an opportunity to serve the other friends? We go to the Congress in Israel. You know what the highest level of being able to get that opportunity to do that? To wash dishes. You guys remember what washing dishes is? How many of you tried to, trick your parents somehow and make it look like, oh no, I can't. My hand hurts, or the water's not. I have to do my homework all of a sudden. I have to. It's like my father always reminds me of a time when I was a teenager and they wanted me to do that, and I was like, I thought it was really smart. I went outside and I turned off the main water to the house to not do the dishes. And I thought I was so smart, but he actually gave me off that day because he thought it was a smart way to do it. But you send me to the Congress in Israel, give me the opportunity to wash the burnt pots for hours like that and sitting there. Oh, to serve the friends. I love them. What an opportunity to have that privilege. Doesn't sound like that when you don't love someone. But think about wiping the butt of your baby and what privilege that is to be able to do that. Even the poop smells good. I'm serious. You know what I'm talking about, right? I know there's some stinkers, but I mean, you know what I mean? You're sitting there and you're like, oh my God. And it's like, if you looked at it from the side, you're like, you realize what I'm about to do here right now? And you do it and you're like, you got this little grin on your face, like, I got to do this. That's the difference. Rav, this is a quote from Rav. What I do in this work is demand the reforming light. And when the reforming light comes to me, it brings me closer to the friend. I begin to feel him close to me, and I begin to care for him. That I have a certain warmth to him, towards him. Still far from the actual flame, but I can somehow say that I am beginning to get close to the matter of love. And then when I feel such a sensation, the sensation makes us equal. Equal by me not being able to think of myself, only of two. And first of him, and then of myself. And so on. These are the degrees. But this is all from the reforming light. That's it. So you have an exercise. Be above, be below, and demand the light that brings you the feeling of love. And then you are equal. I have for time for maybe 1-2 questions, and then we will conclude tonight. Questions? Comments? Someone's burning inside and just wants to tell everyone how much he loves them?
Okay. I felt that it was a wonderful experience. Corporeal feelings are a lot different than spirituality, and in corporeal life, I'm like a giver and a nurturer, but it felt weird to be giving in the spiritual sense, and it was just interesting to see the differences. Thank you.
I do feel like a powerful love for everybody here. I don't know. I sometimes feel like overwhelmed with, just having found people that are also, just all facing the same way. We're all facing for the Creator and trying to get there together. And it's still blowing my mind. I've been doing this for a little while, and it gets me every time.
Who was speaking? I was looking all over the screen. I couldn't tell who was talking.
Carol.
Oh, Carol. That's what your microphone is like right behind my little arrow there, and I couldn't see the unmuted microphone. Thank you. That was beautiful. Anyone else?
I felt a huge amount of tension through this whole thing. Like it was more than I could handle. Like it was asking more of me than I could give. And I was trying to stay in it, but now that it's getting near the end, I feel a sense of relief at this moment. Like, okay, I did as best as I could, and I hope it was good enough.
Well, then I just need to reassure you that you did great and you are great, and it would have not been the same without you, each and every one of you.
I want to add that we need to realize how amazing it is to have an experience like this and to put ourselves in this inquiry and to experience what we are experiencing. Let us not forget that. Thank you.
It's always an extra, different experience, unique experience, and totally amazing sensation. And you are all part of this. You are creating this. So I just wanted to tell this to everyone. And thank you for that.
Tonight was great. The workshops were very unique with the questions and what we needed to sense. And other than that, Zohar, I can assure you, my son's poop stinks really bad, and there's nothing that would make it smell good ever.
God forbid if I came and I told you that your son's poop stunk, you would be very offended. What are you talking about? My son? He smells like honey. You guys know what I mean. I didn't mean that poop all of a sudden smells good. You get the idea what I'm saying, right? By the way, if you felt uncomfortable, if you felt challenged, thank God. Then you were in the right place. Then you were actually putting yourself in a place where there was work, where there's spiritual exertion to be done. And if it was easy for you, then maybe you need to work harder on it. Because believe it or not, that was just a taste. If you want to get to a point where you're actually working spiritually on this level, where we can actually say what Rav just said here, where you work above, you work below, and it's only the reforming light that will actually lead us to this love, which is called being equal. That is some spiritual exertion you're going to have to give there. We're going to have to give there, because we can on a certain level do this and say, well, I went from a point where I was uncomfortable talking to you at all, and now I can kind of do it, and maybe still uncomfortable a little bit, but I can open up a little bit. That's far from truly annulling yourself, or from truly canceling yourself out like Rob was saying in the clip that we saw in the beginning, and him canceling himself out, and reaching this together, which is between us. That's going to take some work from us. But you realize where the place is that we need to work. And if it's uncomfortable, that's a good thing. Rav always says to us in the lesson, when someone says, I'm confused. Rav's answer to I'm confused is always this. I love it when he says it, is, I wish it could be for all of us. It's like, it's a blessing to be in that state. I don't know if I told you a story, but I'm going over my time. I'm sorry. I'm feeling good with you guys. My sister is a tango dancer. She's an Argentine tango dancer, and her partner and her husband and her, they go around and they do the dancing. And what do I know about this? I was in Israel for the Congress, and I happened to sit with the two of them at one point, and we're sitting there around the coffee table. And what are we talking about? They're telling me about tango. I'm like, well, I know my wife watches these dancing with something, and I saw that. And when I see you guys, it seems something different. And they were trying to tell me, why it's special this way or that way it is. And really what they were saying, because they're both Kabbalah students, and they said to me, tango is like a spiritual thing. You really need to annul. I'm like, what do you mean? The way they described it was that specifically in this kind of tango that they do, that the woman has to annul herself before the man that leads the dance. And why am I telling you this whole story? Because my sister, who's been a dancer her whole life, she told me that when she's sick and she goes to perform dancing, that's her best dances. Why? Because there's less resistance. She's not trying to, be in control. And when she's weak or sick and she doesn't have any strength to resist, that's when she can let down. That's when she can actually annul herself. And that's going to be some of the work that we have to do. We're going to have to slowly wear down our resistance and feel comfortable with each other in a way where we can let go, where we can start peeling those thick shells that surround our point in the heart, that are there to protect it to start with, but not from this. We don't want to protect ourselves from each other because we are the solution. You're so important. This Thursday, we start the Congress in New Jersey. For those of you who are still connecting to the rest, there's a Mexico Congress Tuesday and Wednesday. You can connect to that as well, Kab.tv. We can put the links. I think I don't know if we did, but if not, we'll put the links in the mail or in the Facebook. And this coming Sunday, obviously, because of the Congress, we will not have our regularly planned lesson. We're all going to be still in the venue and breaking down the equipment, and so the following Sunday we'll meet again. Hopefully, I'll meet you in New Jersey. I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you who are coming, to give you a big hug and thank you for being here tonight. It was truly a tremendous pleasure.
Thank you, Zohar.
Thank you, Zohar.
Zohar. Thank you, friends.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Yes.
Your friends.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Zohar.
So much.
Nice friends.
Bye.
Thank you.